And I think we're starting with Clint Musgrove. So Clint, I think you had your hand up, so fire away.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Hey, Laura, loved everything. Looking forward to reading the book. And I've got a bit of a philosophical question here. We may have to take it offline because it's probably going to have to stay surface level. But with I work within the Department of Homeland Security, and with your experience within government and based on the characteristics that you've been talking about, what are some of your best practices when it comes to working with public service and kind of staying in line with these characteristics? Because you've worked within government, so you know how ambiguous, you know how there can be a lot of roadblocks to some of the things that you have spoken about. And so I'm curious as to if you have some best practices working with agencies that we can actually talk about, on a public forum.
Yeah, no, I love that. And in fact, the thing that my son has been texting me with is that he's in the midst of scheduling his DOD-MERB right now because he's applying for the Air Force Academy. So we haven't heard anything yet. We are fingers crossed, but he's like going through the process. So he was actually just complaining about how difficult the websites are. And I was like, dude, you were signing up for a life of this. If you don't like it now. I think this goes back to like the Simon Sinek find your why, right? Like, why did you get involved in the first place? Why do you care about it? Why are you interested in government service? I think that there are a lot of companies that, I would throw a lot of private sector companies in this. I throw a lot of nonprofits in this that are just like the government in terms of there is a way things have been done. There are procedures. There are people of different generations who like to have things done a certain way. And I think going back to understanding why you do the work and remembering that, there are certain pieces of the work that will make you crazy, but overall, it is because it is a calling, it is your mission, or maybe it is because you like the security of the government paycheck and the work that you're doing. There's a reason why you got into the work in the first place, and understanding what part of it lights you up will allow you to like over-index on that and not worry so much about the other things. So maybe you don't have that much control because you don't get to decide how things are decided. It has to go through a chain of command, or there's work like that. But maybe that's okay, because at the end of the day, you go home and you know that the country's a safer place because you're doing your work. So I think it's thinking about each of those 4 C's of calling, connection, contribution, and control, and figuring out which is the reason why you do the work, which one you enjoy, which one you want to have, and then making sure that you remind yourself actively about how this work actually allows you to fill that bucket of yours. I should say, I actually have 2 online quizzes. The first one is limitlessassessment.com. So limitlessassessment.com is a very in-depth 20-minute, 67-question quiz. By the way, most people are too lazy to take that. So it's okay if you don't want to. I had 25,000 people visit that site and 5,000
Challenge
finished.
accepted.
Okay, so limitlessassessment.com. But if you're one of those people who's like, screw this, I don't have 20 minutes, you can, I decided like 2 months ago, I was like, I'll just make a quiz with 4 questions, because there's calling, connection, contribution, and control. So if you go to my4questions.com, there's a 4-question quiz. It'll take you 5 minutes. And you will get bunches of things from me, PDFs that say like, here's what you have, here's what you want more of, here's what you're missing, and here's how you can actually do some things right now to increase the quotient of calling, connection, contribution, or control that you do want.
Love it. Love it.
Thanks.